All right, so here's the gist. We do 4 gifts across 4 categories throughout the Christmas season. So if you are looking for a way to simplify gift giving for your kids for this year and all the years going forward, you have come to the right place. My name is Erica. I do videos on minimalism and slow living. And today I'm going to tell you about all the gifts I got my kids for Christmas 2023. Now, as a warning, I am going to be talking about the big guy in this video, so I want to mention that up front. It may not be a video that's a good fit for little ears to be listening in on. Now, I want to start by giving you all the specifics on what we do. So these 4 gifts are given out throughout the Christmas season, which for us begins on St. Nick's Day, which is December 6th. This is a tradition from my husband's family that we're carrying forward into our family. And then the other 3 gifts they receive on Christmas Day when they're home with us, which includes a gift from mom and dad, a gift that we account for coming from Santa, as well as the stockings that they get to open. Outside of this, the kids do receive gifts from extended family members. So they get a gift from grandparents on both sides of the family, as well as a gift from my husband's brother, their uncle. I also have 4 siblings, but because I have so many siblings and there are a lot of nieces and nephews, we've simplified things on that side of the family by just not exchanging gifts with each other at all. All right, so let's talk about the 4 categories that we use. Now, I am someone who really likes to have structure, categories, some boundaries around a lot of different things that I do in life. I find that it ends up simplifying things for me. And I really wanted the Christmas for our kids to be something that they could anticipate and really look forward to, so that they would have some idea of the types of gifts and how many gifts that they would be receiving year to year. And there are a lot of people that follow these types of structures. A really common one is something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read. I've heard other variations of that as well. What I did is I just looked at what I was already kind of naturally doing, and then I put some language around it. And so those categories for us are head, heart, hands, and home. So what do those mean? So head refers to things like books and learning toys. Obviously, books are fairly self-explanatory, but learning toys might be things like kits that fall into categories of STEM or STEAM. One of the toys that I considered for this year, but it didn't end up pulling the trigger on, was the Love Every Music set. It comes with real instruments, and it's all about teaching the foundations of music. So those are a few examples of the types of gifts that I might choose for that category. The heart category for me, this is things that the kids are showing specific interest in, that I've personally observed, or that they've specifically asked for. The third category is hands, and this is pretty straightforward also. It's really anything that they can do with their hands. So I think about arts and crafts materials. As Peyton gets a little bit older, materials for learning to sew or knit or crochet. For my son, down the road, again, he's only 1, so he's a little bit young for it now, but down the road I could see tools that he might be interested in, gardening tools, small, appropriate for a child, power tools. I could even see things in here like Lego kits. So I think this could be pretty flexible, what goes into this category. And then the final category is home. So this is activities that we can do as a family. So it might be things like puzzles, games, but even memberships to the local children's museum or the zoo, or subscriptions to things that we would all enjoy doing together. So those are the 4 categories that really help me to streamline the gift giving process and put some predictability in place for my kids year to year. All right, so let's get into the really fun part, which is showing you the gifts. So I'm gonna go category by category. So the first category is head, and this year I got books for the kids, and I actually ended up going a little bit outside. Like I said, we normally stick to 1 gift in each category per child, but there's flexibility in that. So I ended up getting 1 book for each child, as well as 1 joint book, which I'm really excited about, and kind of am struggling to wait a month to give to them. But let me grab that. Okay, it's still wrapped in the plastic, but I got this book, The Biggest Story Bible Storybook, which sounds redundant. Peyton really loves reading her current kids' Bible, but it's to the point where we read it every night and the pages are literally falling out of the binding, and Steve has repaired it a few times with duct tape. And so I just think it's time to go to the next book. I also wouldn't mind having a different version, slightly better illustrations. Part of the reason I picked this one is because the illustrations are really beautiful. I think just so thoughtfully done, really a unique illustration style. And I'm really looking forward to that aspect of it. And, I hope that that's enjoyable for the kids as well. The other thing that I noticed when I was looking at it online is that it goes into a lot more detail for each story than what we get in our current version. And I think that Peyton in particular is ready for the longer version of many of these stories. So I'm really looking forward to them receiving this one and having this be a part of our bedtime going forward into 2024. All right, the next gift, I've got all my gifts up here on the shelf. Okay, They're hard to reach. So then Peyton's book that she's receiving this year, I am ridiculously excited about. I, like many moms, grew up reading the Little House on the Prairie books, and I had it in my mind that as she got a little bit older, I would be, bringing the original books into the home and starting to read those to her. I did not realize that we can start now. And when I was doing some research for books to get her this year, I came across a Little House picture book treasury. So if you haven't come across this before, they sell many of the stories that are in here individually. There are actually 6 different stories from the Laura Ingalls and Almanzo stories that have been adapted for younger readers, ages 4 to 8. They come with all of these great illustrations, and it's pretty large text. So I would say for my daughter, she's 3.5, so obviously she's a little bit on the young side, but we currently read, James Herriot's Treasury for Children, and she does pretty well with that, and there's actually a lot more text on those pages, so I'm pretty confident that she can handle this one, and I am just so excited to start introducing this story series to her. It's very meaningful to me. And actually, I forgot about this one. So right now I am focused on bringing more like classic literature into our home. I ended up picking up the story about Ping, which I loved this story as a kid. My mom and I were talking, and she said that when she was a kid, she was always really afraid of the end because she really didn't want him to get the spanking. But anyway, I just loved this as a kid, and I think it's such a wonderful story that I want to introduce to my kids. So this is also another joint gift they're going to be getting. They're getting a lot of books this year. All right, so then for Theo, I picked out this one, another really classic piece of children's literature, Guess How Much I Love You. I really liked this one because I liked that it was a little bit larger than some of the board book versions that I had seen, but still had those sturdier pages for younger readers. So the next category I'm going to talk about is heart. So again, these are things that the kids have shown interest in or specifically asked for. So last year for Christmas, Peyton got this dollhouse that's, you can see right behind me, and it is played with regularly. She also has some small animals that go along with it. They're all from the Hearth and Hand toy collection through Target. And so this year I decided to add on to that by picking out some furniture, some doll furniture that can go along with it. It's a kitchen set, so there's a table and chairs, a refrigerator, a stove, and a kitchen and sink. Also to go along with that is our gift for Theo, which is this little chicken coop. And then it comes with about 6 little wooden chickens. He also just really loves animals, and so we figured that would be a good fit where they can kind of play together with both of those pieces. So then another thing that the kids are receiving that falls within this category is the gift that they're receiving from my mom and stepdad. I don't always worry about including gifts from extended family into the categories that I've set for myself, but this year I just felt like they fit into that category, and so I wanted to share them with you all. What I observe is that my kids really enjoy dolls, and they really enjoy dolls that have realistic faces and soft bodies. And of course, some of the best dolls out there that are like that come from American Girl, and so we got them each their own bitty baby this year. So for Theo, he got this little guy. He has dark hair and brown eyes. My son has brown eyes, so we're kind of differentiating the dolls in their eye color and hair color so that they know whose is whose. But Theo got this little guy, and then Peyton is getting her blue-eyed and blonde-haired, just like my daughter. So those will be a fun addition to our doll collection. They may be an impetus for me to start having a conversation with Peyton about decluttering some of the dolls that we currently have. We are still in the process of learning how to let things go. All right, so the next category is hands. And for this, okay, so I went pretty hard on A Little House on the Prairie this year, because when I came across the books, I then came across the paper doll set. And this is exactly the kind of thing that Peyton would go crazy for. She's never had a paper dolls before, but she turns everything into dolls. And I swear, this set was 100% available when I was a kid. I might have had it myself. So it's bringing back all the nostalgic vibes for me. So I'm really excited about that. And Peyton turns everything that she can get her hands on into some kind of a character that she can role play with. So I know she's gonna be excited about this. And then for Theo, he is getting a classic. He loves these. He's starting to get really into doing arts and crafts. So he is getting Play-Doh. I'm actually going to be breaking up this set and using some in stockings for both of the kids, but then Theo will get his own box of Play-Doh to open. So it'll be kind of a mix for the two of them. Play-Doh is always a safe bet. The next category is home, so this is things that we can do as a family, and this year I decided to lean into games. So I did a little research on games that are good for younger children, and I came across this one called Off to Bed. So they have to help the little characters bring together everything that they need to go to bed, like their blankets and their pillows, and go through their little routine and things like that. So that is for Peyton. So then for Theo, I found this game called Roll and Play. So Theo's 1, he will be 16 going on 17 months around Christmas time, and this is one of just a few games that's out there. It's recommended for 18-month-olds. So you have this big cube and it has colors on every side, a different color on every side. You roll the cube, and then whatever color it lands on, you identify what the color is, and then you pick a card, and with that card there is an action like waving goodbye or rubbing your belly. And what I know of my son is that he would be interested in all of those things. I know my daughter would be obsessed with the colors, and obviously this would be good, learning and reinforcing colors for him as well. So I thought both of these games would be really fun ways to get to start to introduce, games that are developmentally appropriate for the children in our home. All right, so the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was stocking ideas, things that won't break the bank. I'm gonna take you through everything that I got for my kids to put into their stockings, and I'll try to talk about them in terms of the categories that they fall into. So again, this is an area where I think about things in terms of categories, and I try to keep those categories things that are, in the long run, consumable. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is a channel where I talk about minimalism, so often when we're bringing new things into the house, I'm trying to think about things that we're going to either get a ton of use out of, really enjoy, or things that we're going to use but are not going to exist forever within the home. So the first falls into the category of food and treats, which I think everybody looks forward to food and treats. And I'm literally going to be packing the stocking right now to see, have I actually gotten enough to fill the stocking for my kids? All right. The first thing that I will actually do is probably put a clementine in the toe of the stocking, because that's just kind of a traditional thing, putting an orange in the toe of the stocking. I always think about the orange in that scene in the 1990s Little Women, and how, coveted it was. So I'd probably start by putting an orange in there or some kind of citrus. My daughter's like obsessed with limes and lemons. And then some Pringles. We never buy these, but they're delicious. I'm obsessed with them. And so that is a really special Christmas treat. I've got about 2 for everyone in the family. Another thing that my kids really love are chocolates, candies, baked goods, even if it's homemade baked goods and then wrapped up in a little, plastic baggie or something like that. Hot chocolate packets, which I have. I also bought a bag of marshmallows, and I will, take those out and divvy them up between everybody in the family so that they'll have some marshmallows that they can eat along with their hot chocolate. I just went to the Dollar Tree and picked out a lot of snacks and treats there. I bought a box of Pop-Tarts. Again, this is a lot of stuff we don't normally buy, so it's just kind of like a fun Christmas occasion. So I got a box of Pop-Tarts, broke it up, and one set for my daughter there. I will also be giving her some play-doh from the play-doh set. We've got some more treats. We've got a fruit by the foot, a mini roll-up. Peyton has reached that point where she's obsessed with lip balm and makeup and all of those things, so I got her a little tinted lip balm. A couple more snacks to put in here. So we're about 2/3 of the way full now. So as you can see, I've gone pretty hard on like the food and treats. We've got some arts and crafts stuff in here. Some other items within arts and crafts that you could think about are things like kinetic sand, clay. You can buy those little like individual packets of Sculpey clay. And they're all, you can get them in all these really beautiful colors. Something like that would be a great gift. I would have loved that when I was a kid. Watercolor sets, individual paintbrushes, if you want to get someone like a slightly, higher quality set of paintbrushes, crayons, tempera paints. So you could buy a set of tempera paints and actually wrap them up individually, or put the entire set into a stocking. But if you're trying to, stretch your dollar a little bit more, you could wrap them up individually and share them across a few different kids' stockings. Another thing that I'm going to be putting into the stocking that I think is great is washi tape, which is just all this really fun, different types of colorful and patterned tapes. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll put one in Theo's stocking and then one in Peyton's. All right, so for now, obviously I'm going to wrap these things in the stocking too. Right now, I'm just trying to get a sense of how much do I actually need? So then you can get into the category of toys that could go into a stocking. So I, again, always am kind of thinking in terms of either consumables or stuff that are little accessories that can go along with the gifts that the kids are going to be receiving. My mom actually ended up helping me out with this. I was planning to purchase some of this stuff, but she purchased it along with the Bitty Babies. So she got each of the kids a second set of clothing for the Bitty Babies. So I'm gonna be I'll probably be taking them out of the box so that they'll fit better, but I'll be adding them into the stockings for each child. And then she also purchased this bottle set. So I'll take these apart and one bottle will go to Peyton and one bottle will go to Theo. Yeah, this is a really, I mean, it's plastic, but it's a pretty high quality little bottle. So another category for stockings is toiletries. So for Peyton, I picked out these Barbie themed toothbrushes as well as the lip balm you saw before. Other things you could think about are fun bath bubbles or soaps. For an older child, maybe a special shampoo or conditioner. My kids are really into floss picks and toothbrushes and floss in general. They would be thrilled to receive anything like that, which probably seems a little bit weird, but they love it. Peyton loves peelable nail polish. And then the final category is something that my mom used to always get for us, which was winter gear. So like hats, gloves, woolen socks. I don't have it with me right now, but I do have some socks for the kids. I just don't want to go down to the basement and get them. So imagine I put some woolen socks in here. And then the final thing that I picked out for their stockings were a couple of ornaments. We don't actually have a lot of ornaments on our tree, and we're just kind of in the process of collecting them. And so I found this little Santa and this little dog. The Santa is for Peyton. We're gonna be giving a matching one to her grandma, and I thought that she might really enjoy that she and grandma each have their own version of the same ornament on their trees. And then we've got this little guy, this little doggy, which Theo is obsessed with dogs. So there you have it. We have a nice full stocking for my daughter, and it is filled with consumables. So it's not a lot of stuff that's just gonna be floating around the house, and it cost me very little to fill. You know what? For you, I'm gonna do the math right now. All in, I would say it was about $20 to fill this stocking. I will say I did end up getting a little bit of help from my mom because she bought these accessories, so that helped me to fill it up a little bit more. So, you know, maybe $30 had I purchased them myself, but not bad. So I hope this video gave you some inspiration or gave you some ideas about how you could approach simplifying your gift giving for your kids. Thank you so much for watching. If you like videos on minimalism and slow living, consider subscribing, and until next time.